Hi everyone, I'm Alli and welcome to my channel and welcome to the very first DIY project here in the brand new craft room. I am so excited to get into this video and start creating and coming up with some all new home decor in this space. It just has made me feel so re-energized when it comes to DIY projects. So I thought for our inaugural project in this room, we would do something a little more crafty, and that is make some DIY home decor using clay. I have two different types of clay right here. The first is my favorite type of clay to use, polymer clay, which is oven baked clay. I just like it because it's convenient, it's easy, and it just never lets me down. But I also found when I was going through all of my craft supplies, an airtight sealed container of some air dry clay. I've had this for years and it is still good. We're going to make some air dry clay DIYs and we're going to make some polymer clay DIYs. And I thought to add a little twist, let's make them inspired by high-end decor to see if we can make these clay home decor dupes for less. So let's get started. So for this project, I was inspired by these Anthropologie stoneware frames. I just think these are so adorable and I could not get them out of my head as soon as I saw them when I was going through their website. And full price, these frames range from $32 to $48 depending on the size. I just thought it'd be really fun to take this as our inspiration and put our own twist on it, because that's just what makes DIY fun, is putting our own spin on projects and making them our own and taking inspiration from something that's really expensive and just having fun with it. It felt so good to sit down with a fresh package of polymer clay and begin working on some brand new home decor using clay. And I just think that this was such a fun project to start with. And honestly, maybe one of my favorite projects that I have made in a really long time. I just think there is something so fun and whimsical about the Anthropologie frames that we're creating, and then to be able to make my own version of it just filled me with so much joy, because I got to really make this something personal and really special for myself. And I really think that that's just what makes this project even better. So for my frame, instead of going with the shapes that are on the Anthropologie frames, I wanted to pick something that was very special to me, which are roses. Roses are my birth flower, and I just love anything that has a rose pattern on it. And so I found these silicone molds that I believe are for cake making off of Amazon, but we're going to use them to make perfect little rose shapes for our frames.
Oh, that's so cute.
And if you don't like roses, they do sell them in all sorts of shapes of flowers, fruits, you name it. I'm sure there is some sort of mold out there for you to use. And this was so easy because I just pressed the clay into the mold, flattened it out as best as I could, trimmed off any of the excess, and then I just scored on the back of the flowers as well as on the clay frame that I've created here and pressed that down into place. I definitely realized throughout this project that I would have been way better off if I had the proper clay tools to work with, but hey, I made it work with a simple craft knife and my own hands. And so even if you don't have all of the proper clay tools, I think you can still achieve any of the projects you're about to see in this video. I was feeling so excited when I pulled this piece out of the oven and let it cool because it just was looking so good. I gave it a nice sand around the edges with a fine grit sandpaper just to smooth everything down and round out any of the sharp edges so that this would look nice and polished. And then because I wanted this frame to feel like it was part of the set that was being sold at Anthropologie. Like if you went on the website and you clicked on the listing and you were clicking through the different options, that this frame would be one of them. And so I decided to make mine with a light pink base, since I felt like that was the color that was missing in the set of 3 that was available, and I think would look really, really nice with the roses. And my big advice, if you're doing a project like this and you're trying to mimic the look of a ceramic glaze, is that you don't need to do more than 1 coat. That's because 1 layer of the acrylic paint almost looks more like a glaze, where you can still see in some parts some of the white showing through of the original clay, and it's not a full total coverage, and I think this just looks so much more authentic. Honestly, once I had the green leaves painted on, which is where I started, I thought, wow, this would actually look really cute just to keep the roses white, and I really, really love the look of this. But I did decide to go in and paint them 2 different shades of red just to really make them pop. And honestly, I'm not quite sure yet where I'm going to put this frame or what kind of picture I want to put in it, but I'm really proud of this piece and it makes me just very, very happy every time I look at it. So I feel like going in the craft room would be the perfect spot to remind me of something really awesome that I made. So let me know if you guys have any ideas of what I should put in the frame, as well as where I should display it. Now moving on to our next project, I was inspired by these trinket dishes from Urban Outfitters. They are $10 a piece, which I think is fair, except for they are pretty tiny, so $10 does feel kind of a lot for something this big. And I know that we can easily make these out of clay. And I'm really excited because for my own special twist on this project, I'm inspired by one of my favorite Ana Luisa jewelry pieces. And Ana Luisa is the sponsor of today's video. They reached out to me asking if I would tell you guys about how some of my oldest and favorite Ana Luisa jewelry pieces have held up over time. And of course I agreed, because even if they weren't sponsoring this video, I would talk for days about Ana Luisa and how much I love their jewelry, because I am wearing some of the pieces that I've had the longest right now, and you can tell that they are just in perfect and pristine condition. Here's a look at some of the pieces that are in my daily rotation. These are the ones that I gravitate toward the most and wear the most often, and you can see that they all still look brand new. Not a single one of my pieces have broken or started to tarnish, and I think that that's just why I love Ana Luisa so much, is because their jewelry is so high quality, and yet it does not come with that high price point, with all of their pieces starting at just $39. You're bound to find a piece that not only you love, but also doesn't break the bank, and you are gonna be able to wear these for such a long time. I also love that I don't have to worry because their pieces are backed by a 2-year warranty, and they're water resistant and tarnish proof, which means they're perfect for wearing all summer long. I wear my Ana Luisa jewelry in every single one of my videos. You can go back through all of them and see that that is 100% true. By putting on my Ana Luisa jewelry, I feel so much more confidence in what I am wearing and how I look, and I just want you guys to just feel the same way that I do every single time I put these pieces on, knowing that you can not only trust the brand to hold up and have such high quality, but that you're gonna feel really good about yourself every single time you put on an Ana Luisa jewelry piece. So if you wanna feel the same way that I do every single day when I get ready in the morning, then I have put a link in the description box for you to check out Ana Luisa for yourself. So I'll admit, this project was actually a lot more frustrating than I thought it would be. I thought it would be the easiest project in the video, and I think it was just all to do with my approach and how I started working on it. I originally rolled out the clay and cut out an oval shape, and then tried adding a snake of clay around, and then kind of trying to create a nice rounded lip, but I think because I did not have the proper tools, that just totally was not going to work. Or maybe this would have been a project better suited to the air dry clay, which is a little bit easier to work with in terms of blending the different pieces of clay into each other. But I just thought I would show you guys all of the different attempts and struggles that I went through, just to keep it real here, that projects aren't always going to turn out exactly the way that you imagine they would in your head, and that sometimes it does take a little bit of some trial and error to get something just right and perfect. But the best part of working with clay, especially polymer clay, is that you can keep reworking with this stuff until you get your piece exactly right. And I think that's why I do love a clay project so much, is that it is so forgiving and you can just easily stop and start over and do that again and again until you're happy with what you are creating. And I honestly think that going through this part of just trying to figure out what works is totally part of the DIY process, and just worth a little bit of showing you guys just kind of what goes on behind the scenes too sometimes. Now, once I finally figured it out, I ended up rolling out a long snake, and then I found out I had this cute little scallop stencil in my clay supplies, and this made the perfect little lip around the tray. And I think the scallop just adds a nice little detail. Did this little trinket tray turn out perfect? No, it did not, but I do think it is really cute and it is still functional, and so you know what? I think it is just cute in its own way. So I'm inspired by this Ana Luisa necklace that I have. It is absolutely one of my all-time favorites. I love the little flower in the middle with the mother of pearl. So I thought I would draw this flower onto my little trinket dish. I'm using my porcelain pen, and I honestly don't think this was the best method of doing it. It didn't quite want to draw onto the acrylic paint very well. I'm not sure if I just didn't let it dry long enough. I did let it dry for a little while, so I thought it would have been okay. So I think I would just stick to acrylic paint or an acrylic paint pen if you are going to do this. But I do really love that blue color because of course it looks like our inspiration photo. Okay, it is time now for the moment of truth to find out if this air dry clay truly is still usable. Let's open this and see so that we can make our next DIY project. Still feels very, very soft. I think this is a very good sign without even having to open it, but here we go. Oh, look at that. That is still 100% perfect. I am so happy to see that this is still so good and we can still use it. So for our air dry clay project, I'm inspired by these ceramic wall hanging candle sconces. I wasn't able to find an example from a higher end store, but there's a lot of handmade versions on Etsy, and I think that we can make our own handmade version using air dry clay. And this is really unlike anything that I've ever made before, so I'm very excited to see what we can come up with and if we can make just something really beautiful that I can hang up on the wall, because currently the majority of the walls in this apartment are bare. So anything that I can add to just brighten up a space, I think this is going to be a fun little project to make. So for this piece, I had been seeing all of those candle holders like I mentioned online, but also while I've been out thrifting and antiquing, I just feel like a wall candle sconce is something that you find pretty much anytime you go to the thrift or antique store. There are so many different versions of them, and I just thought it'd be really fun to make my own, and I really did want to lean toward that more like vintage inspired look for this piece, and you'll really start to see that come to life when I start painting it. To make it a little bit easier to make the candle holder, I actually have had a bunch of these wood candle cups in my stash for a while. I use them for a lot of different projects, so I just kind of keep them on hand. And I'm going to wrap some clay around it. This is just going to give a really nice structure to hold the candle, so I don't have to worry about making it out of the clay and the clay warping or not drying to the correct size. I'm guaranteed to know that a candle will fit in this. And these are easily found at the craft store. So right now I am in the process of curating a lot of wall art and different types of pictures and frames and stuff to hang up for a gallery wall in the stairwell of our townhome. And so what I was thinking with this piece and how I wanted the design to go is that this would be such a great way to break up all of the frames on the wall for a gallery and add a little bit of some variety as well as a touch of some warm glowy light from the candle. And I'm really thinking that that gallery wall is going to lean into some greens and browns and kind of earthy tones like that. So that's what inspired me for my color palette and just the overall look for this piece. And I was really just inspired by looking at ceramics and different vintage pieces that I had seen when I'm out thrifting or antiquing. And I wanted to layer the paint so that it looked almost like it had been glazed with the paint on top. So I started with my base color going neutral and then adding some speckles. And then I went in with a really pretty olive green paint on top for this leaf design. And I think what really just set this over the edge was then going in with the gloss and painting that only on the green areas. So that would have a beautiful, nice gloss to it while the clay or the natural looking areas remained matte. And I think that just turned out so cute, and I cannot wait to see this piece in a full gallery wall. You guys, I had so much fun making all of those DIY projects. It was just really fun to be crafty again and also just to be in my brand new space. I am just so excited for all of the future projects that are to come in this room and really just all over this new townhome. Now, I definitely think my favorite of all of those projects had to be the frame, and honestly, the surprising one that I just love is the candle holder. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. And don't forget to check out Ana Luisa with the link in the description box so that you can find your new favorite piece of jewelry. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.